And welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Today's band is no metal band, but nevertheless, been sent us for a review. We're gonna give it a review and let's see what we find out with band called Death Alley. I don't know if there's a wordplay behind this, but to me it kind of rings like Death Valley, except, without having the V there. And this band comes from Netherlands. And what can I say? This cover basically tells you a story that this one is a metal album. Could be, I don't know, doom or maybe even death metal, with kind of a bizarre creature with having a baby and scissors ready to cut the cord and do what the hell. And on the back side of the release, this nice digipack, the track list obviously, not much else. But inside lies the big surprise. What a hippie stuff there is. As you can see, there is flowers just everywhere, but also these kind of intestines, or at least I believe them to be. And on the underneath the CD, it's really the same. And well, inside you also have semi-hidden booklet, which gives you the information about the Dutch lineup for that band and all the recording information. Inside, obviously, this kind of a nice cardboardish thing. We have lyrics as well as the guys, which I guess look like a little bit retro metal heads. Not sure if they're more on the regressive rock and roll stuff, kind of a retro vibe, or just plain old school metal or whatever, but here it is, psychedelia. So, Death Alley and Superbia. Well, I had no idea of the band prior to getting the CD, so very little expectations. I don't know what to expect, so they cannot be both, neither good or bad. Well, like I said, the cover kind of gave me the idea that that would be kind of a doom or, I don't know, maybe stoner band. But little did I know. Like I said, this is not exactly a metal album, but more kind of a rock album in a way, and kind of a retro rock or even proto metal. That is to say, this is kind of a 70s vibe, and kind of a progressive stuff, mixed with kind of a grooviness and experimental ideas. And yet, in a way, I think this kind of reminds me of those occult rock bands, but also kind of a retro versions of bands like Foo Fighters and whatnot. So it's kind of a stadium rock, meaning kind of a proto metal, meaning kind of a occult rock, and then some. I don't know which way I should, box and label this one, and I probably should not even care. I don't know who cares and who doesn't. But the thing is that music-wise, there are lots of nice ideas on this album. And when I say ideas, I don't mean full compositions, because this album is, well, to put it kind of brutally, it's quite flawed in so many ways, even though lots of good ideas. The thing is that these guys basically have some really nice riffs here and there. The vocalist is quite capable of doing his kind of a charming, singing and all that stuff with clean type of rock and roll music. And while there is kind of a metallic vibe, it's never too heavy, except for one thing, and that is way too lengthy tracks. Even the opening track, which is, I think, one of the best tracks on the album, is more than 9 minutes. And like, oh man, hello! If you are not exactly having really killer riffs, killer chorus lines, and C parts and whatever, 9 minutes is just way too much. It would be sufficient for, I don't know, 2 or 3 tracks even, but for one track, too much, because the song is not that good. And the same applies to every song on this album, and it becomes like a heavy experience, but for the wrong reasons. It's not heavy as metal should be. It's not very metallic in such, because production is kind of like very organic, very air filled, if you know what I mean. I mean, like there's very good dynamic feeling on the album. It's not very, stuck, but it's kind of like vibrating. It's kind of a, like I said, very organic, kind of a old school, very retro. And like I said, in that respect, it's not a heavy album. It's more like groovy and, breathing. But 9-minute songs, or like the last track, 11-minute song, and it's so boring after a while. It's like killing me just because out of the sheer length. And that's one of the problems with the album, because I mean, when these guys go progressive, when they go experimental, it drives me mental, because these guys are not clearly thinking a listener oriented way. And now, before somebody says, oh, they are artists, they know what the hell they are doing, nobody gives for the listener. Sure, that's a fair argument, I guess. But if I'm not a fan of this kind of stuff, it's really hard to kind of convert me into being a fan, because these songs are not very well structured. I feel like I'm listening to some kind of a demo recording, just with a better sound, I guess. And these guys are just, okay, maybe we should have this and that, and okay, pass me the joint and all that stuff. And it makes me feel that this is not, very truly, thought of. It's not like these guys are not, okay, maybe we should, put a little effort here and there and, make this song a little bit more interesting and put these riffs and ideas into other songs and, make them feel like more, I don't know, whole, and kind of leave a little bit, that hunger for the listener, like, oh my God, it's already over. Shit, I gotta just repeat the track. Instead of killing the listener just, with the kind of a boring repetition and whatnot, or having those kind of a progressive experimental riffs, which then again lead to nowhere, and the whole song becomes like a pointless, wanderlust thing. It's not like these guys are just, playing, but no clue how to make it interesting. Just like reading a book with a bad ending, and you're like, okay, the story was nice, but the end totally sucks. And this album makes me feel pretty much the same, except that this trip never was that much interesting. So it's kind of like the best parts are on the beginning, and towards the rest it kind of gets more clumsy, kind of drowning in their own vomit or whatever. But I'm not saying this is a bad album, but it's quite mediocre one. So lots of nice ideas here and there, but way too scarce in a way. So to put it nicely, I guess would be saying that these guys surely have potential to do nice retro rock album, but not there yet. Not anytime soon if they don't evolve with big footsteps. And I know I'm gonna get shit for saying these things, because some people probably just love the band for what it is. And if you're one of those fans, don't waste your time telling me that I don't know shit about music, because I don't care. If you like this album, then you go buy it and listen for yourself. And if you are not a fan of retro proto metal rockish thingies sounding a little bit 70s and then some Foo Fighters, just skip this one. Don't waste your time on it. And if you're undecided, maybe give it a chance and come back telling me how wrong I was. That's how it works. So that alley Superbia, not gonna get it this time. Thank you for watching the review. See you soon with another review. Rauta out.